All right. What's up, everyone? Good to see you guys. Today, we're going to be doing an intermarket analysis chart. Now, specifically, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500. We'll break down why I tend to pay attention to these, why I like to look at all three of these. In today's video, going to be a short and brief one, just a quick explanation of this chart layout that I like to use. Now, this intermarket relationship, as I explained, compares Bitcoin, the NASDAQ, and the S&P, with the top panel being Bitcoin, the middle being the NASDAQ, and the bottom being the S&P. Traders can actually use this chart to analyze the correlation between these markets, observing how movements in Bitcoin might relate to changes in tech stocks, which is going to be your NASDAQ, and the broader market performance, which is going to be the S&P 500. Identifying these relationships can provide insights into market sentiment and potential leading indicators, helping traders to make more informed decisions about their investments across different asset classes. So, if you're someone that's constantly shifting the plays that you're in, someone like myself, right? And who's doing a lot of intermarket analysis, you're trying to get into some of the hottest sectors, some of the hottest areas of the market. This is one of the first charts that I really start with here, right? When I'm going to look for trade ideas, am I looking for Bitcoin right now? Am I looking for crypto plays? Is crypto the leader, right? Is crypto showing the most strength right now? Is it tech stocks, right? Am I looking for stocks within the NASDAQ 100? Is that showing the most strength? Or am I looking for stocks in the S&P 500? All right. Oftentimes, too many people are caught on the catch-up trade and focusing on the catch-up trade. And they're not really trying to trade, right? Because the whole process of a trade and theory behind it is you're looking to make a shorter term investment where you can buy at a price and sell at a higher price. And so if you're following momentum, well, momentum most likely is going to carry a stock or sector or index in the direction of its momentum. And if you see strong momentum or weak momentum, if you're a short seller, right? That's typically where you want to start looking for things. So this will just give you a very general basis, and then you can come in here, you can change the time frames. This is on a daily time frame right here by default, but you can change this to a weekly, even smaller time frame, such as an hourly, a larger time frame, such as a monthly. Ultimately, it all depends on your time horizon. Now, this is one of the intermarket relationship charts that I have available for purchase in my chart layouts. Now, I've got multiple different packages. There's an intermarket analysis package. There's also, market breadth, market internals, and many more, right? So, if we were to just come in here and just now let's try to do some technical analysis, okay? So we're going to come in here and we're going to say, hey, let's chart these up. What are we seeing in Bitcoin, right? Is there any opportunities that I can find in Bitcoin here at the moment? Well, I'll come over here and I'll say, all right, well, we've got a little bit of a trend line here, right? That Bitcoin is approaching. Can this one potentially even break out, right? Is that something that I'm going to be looking for on my time horizon? So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, hey, well, Bitcoin has a setup here, right? Let's take a look at the stock market and let's see what the stock market's been telling us. Well, if we look at the NASDAQ 100 and we just come here to our previous highs, right? And we see that we're making new highs at the moment. We come over here and we just take a look and we say, hey, we're above previous highs here. So crypto has failed to break out in terms of Bitcoin, right? It has not breached its prior high. It's approaching a trend line of a downtrend. The NASDAQ 100 has actually broken out and is consolidating now above its previous cycle highs, prior all-time highs. What about the S&P 500, right? And we come over here to the S&P 500 and we can do something very similar here. And we can see, oh, okay, well, this is broken out and this is now consolidating above its highs. We see that there's a very similar relationship between all three, right? It's not perfect and it's not going to match up perfectly, but we see we put lows right here in the lower left-hand side of the chart, and now we're making highs in the upper right-hand side of the chart. And these two have broken out, and this one has not. So, you can be someone who's focusing on maybe that catch-up trade and you're saying, hey, there's actually a setup here versus trying to time the bottom and either buy this dip or buy this dip or buy all of these different dips for it to go down lower. Now you're waiting and you're saying, hey, when an opportunity presents itself in Bitcoin, maybe now I'm going to start looking at some potential cryptocurrencies to trade, right? We have a trend line here. If we were to come in here and again, just do some technical analysis and use this intermarket relationship, we could say, hey, well, we've got a left shoulder, we've got a head, and we've got a right shoulder right here. And it appears that we're actually trying to break this neckline right now, right? If we come in here and again, just doing some very rough technical analysis at the moment, here's our neckline. We're about to breach the neckline and we're about to potentially breach a trend line. So we know that we do have potential upside in Bitcoin. And we also know that, hey, well, we've already broken out in technology stocks in the NASDAQ, and we've already broken out in the S&P 500, right? Maybe this is due for a catch up, or maybe we want to play into strength, right? And maybe we want to buy the retest of the current lows and look for a move to the upside, potentially in the Nasdaq or the S&P 500. And so it really just helps out to see, where overall markets are, where crypto versus Nasdaq versus S&P is, and also just gives you a brief glimpse on what you may want to focus on, right? Again, this is a daily chart. So I may be looking at potential trades within the next 5 days, within the next day to 5 days, within the next trading week based off of this chart, right? If I can zoom out to a weekly or zoom out to a monthly, maybe I'll be looking at, potential plays for the next coming weeks or the next couple of months, right? Or you zoom down to smaller time frames, right? And you say, hey, well, what has my attention today, right? I'm looking at a 1 hour chart or I'm looking at a 15-hour chart. Where are my potential day trading opportunities? And this can help you narrow down and focus on, what you think has the best setups and the best potential, out of different areas of the market. So it really helps to eliminate some of the noise. Some people could consider this noise, but they're not doing it right, right? If this is too complicated or too messy for you, then this may be something you want to stay away from, right? But if you're going to be doing intermarket analysis, the whole theory is to help you find, confluence, all right? And so we're seeing 2 out of 3 breaking out, making new all-time highs. These all generally follow each other, so it would make sense if we were to see the third out of these three make new highs, right? Which ones have the best potential setups for me to focus on so I can cut out some of the noise and just, make my selection list, my basket that I'm going to be picking trade ideas from. I want to make that as narrow as possible with some of the highest probability trade setups. And so this is one way that you can start to narrow your basket. Now, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Remember, there's a link in the description. You guys can check that out and purchase all of the different chart packages, chart layout packages that I have. Such as these intermarket, market breadth, market internal, seasonality, specific, trade layouts that I use for different pairs or different sectors. And many more features are available. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.